changing landscape of customer experience. Let's spend a few minutes exploring what customer experience are we talking about? How is that landscape changing? And how is that expectation versus delivery of customer experience changing? Let's go to retail Ritesh. I'm going to fumble on this again and again. You are good at saying this. I'm still getting a hang of it. So Ritesh,
I mean,
what according
yes.
to you, what according to you is this changing landscape? How is this entire customer experience journey changing?
Hemant bhai, to answer this question, let me take you through the evolution of customer journey, our customer experience or customer service, as we call it, and how it evolved. So I'll start with, say, in 1980s, it used to be like a seller's market. I'm talking from a girl's perspective, wherein you order a container load of goods, merchandise, and used to sell easily without giving any discounts or markdowns, nothing. It used to just sell. Then came competition, and then the retailers, I'm speaking from the retail perspective, retailers started finding it difficult to sell a whole container in full margin. Hence, the concept of sales promotions came in. We had 30% discount, 50% discount, 75 end of the season sale, blah, blah, blah thing came in. And it then went on since the competition became really complex. The retailers saw now the only two ways to survive. One is building top of the mind recall and creating something called personalization. When you talk about personalization, came the concept of loyalty programs. And everybody came up with a loyalty program. You spend $100, you get $5 to 100 points, which is equal to $3 worth of redemption value. Now, since everybody came up with loyalty programs, loyalty program became a discounting tool, and it does not excite the customer in the meantime got spoiled with choices, spoiled with offers. He became a deal hunter or bargain seeker. And now the challenge came how to, since the loyalty is not working, what to go do ahead. Came the concept of hyper personalization with the advent of artificial intelligence. Then the concept of hyper personalization, just to explain it, what does it mean for the audience sake is, suppose Hemant buys book from Amazon. And so what does Hemant leaves the cookie with Amazon is that he shows or tells Amazon that he has an affinity towards management books. He has an affinity towards certain authors because he's browsing different options of the books. He shows his price preferences, what books, maybe $100, $20, $30. So he shows his price preferences. And lastly, he also gives his buying preference in terms of what time of the day he's buying. Is he clicking it during the daytime, afternoon time, evening, or even night time before he goes to sleep? So all this world has, we actually, we human beings have made this world more complex. We have created troubles for ourselves. And hence this topic of this discussion today is what to do in the changing landscape. So that's my take on it to answer. Yes, the entire evolution is changing. Today, the customer has become, we all know he was a king from ages and ages back, but today he has become much more demanding. He wants everything. Freebie doesn't excite him. So that's what is changing when I talk from the retail perspective.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think it's a very interesting insight. The whole journey that you took us through, the way the customer has been thinking and their experience has been changing from paying for the full price of an item where a discount wouldn't even cross a person's mind, to the point where we are constantly hunting for discounts. We are comparing sites, we are comparing stores, looking for where things are available at the cheapest price. And then, of course, we are also waiting for the season to come in where everybody will be throwing in discounts. Case in point, of course, in Dubai, we have seen it goes from 30, then 60, and then at least twice in a year, we have the 90% sale also happening,
Exactly.
the big day. So,
Yes.
so amazing. And interesting thing you mentioned about the data which is being captured. The amount of data which we share unknowingly with an Amazon or any online player when we are shopping is mind boggling. And the kind of data analytics which can be run on it, with, of course, now AI, the kind of inferences that can be drawn from that data about us as an individual, not just as a generic mass or a generic target audience, a TG. But now organizations can pinpoint and focus and target an individual for their choices and for their habits. Uh,
Absolutely.
Big
Absolutely right,
goal.
Hemant, right? In fact, there is a case study which is I mean, the audience can browse on Google. It's by Target Store in US.
Uh-huh.
What they found out, a woman customer is pregnant even before her family knew. How they did it is through data analytics, because all this year she was buying certain kind of skincare which was fragrance oriented, and suddenly she changed to a non-fragrant skincare which does not have any kind of a fragrance or a scent, because during once you are pregnant in early days of pregnancy you get that nausea feeling, so with the different kind of fragrances coming out, that
Yes.
triggered the Target Store and retail analytics saying that the customer is pregnant, please start targeting her with baby care products, how parenting tips, all those things to, and that's how the retailer knew before her family knew that she's pregnant.
Okay, that's a very interesting case study. Well, let's move on to Samir. Your thoughts on the changing landscape of customer experience.
Sure. So Hemant, I think I would like to divide this customer experience into two parts. One is, organizations also treat the employees as their customers. And then obviously the external is the customer as well. So I was in an organization which openly said that for them, employee first, right? And customer second. So what's happened over the period of time is that, employees also are demanding uh, on-time service. They're also demanding that their grievances are heard. They're also demanding tools and productivity tools for them to be more productive, right? So, and this has got accentuated due to COVID and work from home environment, right? And companies were forced to think that way, right? And hence, people like us and some of the panelists might agree that the environment for employees has also changed, and hence, for example, earlier I used to go to the HR if my some of my expense reimbursement was stuck, but right now when I put in a claim, I get an SLA that this will get addressed in certain this point of time, and I also get the person who will handle this request. So that's absolutely tremendous leap in experiencing or the customer experience for the employees internally. Externally, Hemant, what's happening is that we have something called Uberization of the customer, right? Experience. So in the sense that what people are saying is that if you can order a taxi on your phone, one or two other things, right? So people of our generation and younger, they're not going to the banks, for example, right? They want anywhere banking, while people uh, elder to us and our parents and all, they wanted to go physically to the branch, right? So and then there's a whole myriad of services which are now moving to online, and whole focus is on customer experience because of the fact that that is becoming a big differentiator for companies to have one-to-one relationships, right, with the customer, understand the customer as an individual, and thereby be able to better upsell and cross-sell. And the third point, Hemant, is that even the government services have gone through a tremendous leap, right? In my earlier days when I was younger, I remember I applied for a passport, I went there, right, and all that. But have you recently applied for passport, Hemant? Recently in India, the passport seva kendra and the whole passport supply chain from applying to getting the passport is tremendously transformed, and that is an absolutely wow customer experience. And I would like to end by the fact that COVID was hit people very hard, but in India, right, I have my brother in London. When they went for the COVID vaccine, they got a printout and it was handwritten. Over here, the moment we got a vaccine and exited the nursing home or the hospital, we got literally a certificate on our mobile. So that's the wow of the customer experience, and I think it's only going to get even more and more interesting for all of us as individuals and as customers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rightly said, Samir. The the way technology is impacting, the way even the whole thinking process is evolving in terms of how the customer should be experiencing the product, service, etc. It's a very interesting insight. In fact, there have been a lot of conversations where you hear people talking about design thinking in while discussing customer experience journey design itself. So a lot more attention is being paid. I think we have come a long way from customer delight, customer ecstasy. Now I hardly hear those terms because everybody is talking about the entire customer experience, which is not a moment of time but start to end. What are the different touch points? How do we influence them? And even the way customer experience is being looked at, the span of time, when does it start, when does it end, that entire perspective also is changing, which is also driving a lot of what an organization does. Well, before I move on to Vinod to give his perspective, let me just quickly welcome once again all the audience members who are there. Thank you for joining us today and contributing to the conversation. And I'll tell you how. If during the conversation you have a thought, you have a comment, please feel free to share it in the chat box. If you have a question, please feel free to drop it in the chat box. Right now, you will not be able to unmute yourself. That's just to kind of retain the space and the pace and speed of the conversation. We will have a question answer round at the end, Q&A. So then you all will be able to unmute and I will start picking up questions from the chat box. And yes, if you have a comment based on anything our panelists are saying, feel free to express that. We might just be including that in the conversation which is ongoing. If there is a question in there, might try and answer it on the go, or we'll pick it up at the end. So thank you for joining in. And over to you, Vinod, for your thoughts and views on the changing landscape of customer experience.
Yeah, thank you. So, whatever points Ritesh and Samir had covered, I want to extend it even a little further. First, for example, we cannot call customers anymore consumers. They are becoming like contributors. What I meant by contributors is they want to share when they have gotten the best experience from any product or service. With the social media and a lot of awareness and the visibility that they are getting, they want to share, hey, this is the best restaurant I visited. This is where I'm getting a lot of new dresses, new designs, correct? So they want to be in the game, in the thick of everything that is happening. They're not just being loyal to a specific brand, but wherever they get the best, they want to latch onto it and they want to be the first ones to exhibit that as well, right? And if you take, if I go back to the evolution, so first it was the visibility. When the print media was the main source of distribution, where marketers were using the newspapers to share, then came the radio and television, where the audibility also came into picture. Now it has evolved into a lot more very intense. Like they want to be in middle of a scenario, which is like augmented reality or virtual reality, or otherwise called metaverse, right? They want to experience it before buying certain things, or they want to look at themselves in a specific situation. So the evolution is really mind-boggling. They want to really have beyond the words and the scenes. They want to be in thick of the action. So what I see here is, when I take customer, I myself consider that I am a customer, right? I am a customer of many of the suppliers. What do I want? Why should I want to go back to the same vendor or a supplier? What is it? Because when I take an app, I can, without any interaction with a human, I can place an order. But why am I going to a specific store? I really want to get that experience. They are really looking at, okay, can I get a human interaction? Because anything artificial or non-interactive, I can take care on my mobile. But when I want to go to a store, I want to be compelled to go to a certain store, right? It's all about the experience. So I look at it like beyond audibility, visibility, it's their sentiment, sense gratification that they are looking at as the new evolution of customer experience. Okay, you're on mute.
Absolutely, absolutely. Fantastic, Vinod. I think you extended the idea of the customer experience significantly. And while we were talking about it, I also realized that the customer experience is no longer limited to the time when the customer is actually using your products or services. The whole customer experience journey has started pretty much from the point where the customer was exposed to your brand communication. Whether it is an advertisement, whether it's a celebrity talking about your brand, whether it's a hoarding on the road, every impression the brand makes on an individual is now pretty much the part of the customer journey.